What's up, BookTube? Welcome back. My name is Laura if you're new here, and today I'm letting Operation pick my TBR for November. October has come to a close and I'm so sad about it. October is my favorite month of the year. I love watching horror movies and reading like spooky books. It was also my birthday month. I turned 25 a few weeks ago. Libra gang, where you at? But otherwise I had a great reading month. Read lots of spooky things and had a good time. I love seasonal reads and just fall in general. It is like truly the best time of the year. But in terms of reading, I had like a pretty good reading month. I'm in kind of a slump right now. But for my October TBR, I have read everything aside from one book, but I have started that book, so no punishments for me for this month. We're off to a good start so far, so let's hope it stays that way. For November, I don't think I'm planning on doing any like readathons or stuff like that, and like November is kind of the weird period where it's like I'm not sure what to do for like seasonal read. Like it's not really spooky season anymore, but it's also not really Christmas yet, so it's kind of like a weird limbo where I'm not sure what I want to read. I do want to try and get through a few more sequels before the end of the year. Since reading sequels was my biggest goal for 2021, I would love to get a few more off my shelves. So with that said, let's get into draw number one. For my first draw, I have to read my most recent purchase, and that one is A Beautifully Foolish Endeavour by Hank Green, which is the sequel to An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, which I read last year and adored. It was so good. But this book I bought as a birthday gift to myself, so thank you, me. The first book follows a girl named April May, who is an artist in her like early 20s living in New York City, and one day when she's walking home, she finds this giant statue in the middle of New York City, and she assumes that it's like some really cool art piece, and so she decides to have her friend come down and make a YouTube video where she's like fake interviewing the statue just to show some love to the art. And then the next day she wakes up and it has millions of views, and it turns out that she was the first one to document these statues, as one has popped up in every major city in the world and nobody has any clue how they got there, what they're made of. People aren't sure if it's like something military or if it's aliens. They have no idea what's going on. But our main character kind of becomes the face of these statues, and so it has this like sci-fi element to it, but it's really about her like rise to fame and how it affects her and changes her as a person. So it's about social media and all that stuff with a sci-fi twist to it. The first book was brilliant. It was so well done, especially for a debut book. I was blown away by it. It was incredible. So I can't wait to get to book two. The squishy ones are always hard to get. Nice. For draw number two, I have to read a library book, and for this one I'm going to be reading Down Country by Emily Tesh, the sequel to Silver in the Wood, which I read earlier this month as part of my reading challenge with Roxanne Can Read. That video will be out shortly. I didn't love the first book. It was like beautifully atmospheric, the writing is gorgeous, I love the characters, but the plot was like pretty rushed and kind of confusing at times, but I did still enjoy it, and it's a pretty short book anyway, so I would love to get to book two, and so I might as well do it while I still have it checked out from the library. But Silver in the Wood follows this ancient forest witch man who has been guarding the forest for 400 years. He's seen as kind of a myth. He's called like the Green Man or the Wild Man, and so most people try to avoid the main character whose name is Tobias until he meets Henry Silver, who is this folklorist who is obsessed with the legend, and he learns that Tobias just happens to know a lot of information about the Green Man, so he is constantly coming around to his cottage having no idea that he is actually the Wild Man, and the two very slowly start to bond and fall in love, and then things go from there. The romance in here was super sweet and I loved it, and book two picks up where book one ended, and it ended on like a pretty good point, so I can't wait to find out where it goes from there. Another squishy one, come on. for my next read, I have to pick a sequel, which is perfect because again, I'm trying to read sequels this month. And for this one, I'm going to be reading Network Effect by Martha Wells. This is I think the 5th book in the Murderbot Diaries series. I started this one back in either August or September, and I just did not have time to get to it, and I haven't had time since then. But this month, I am determined to get to it. I'm obsessed with Murderbot. We all know this. It is like one of my favorite series of all time. It's about this AI security robot who has hacked his own system in order to like go rogue, but instead of going on a murder rampage as people would think that he would, all he wants to do is just sit down in a quiet room and watch soap operas and listen to music and read books and have the rest of the world just leave him the fuck alone. That is all that he wants, but he keeps getting drawn in by all these pesky humans who are getting themselves into trouble and he needs their help. And that's kind of the gist of this series. It's just such a good time. It's very light sci-fi. It's mostly just humorous, a lot of action. So it's great for people who are like new to sci-fi. And yeah, I just adore this series so much and I can't wait to see where book 5 takes me. I think the character Art comes back in this one and he was one of my favorites, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And just overall, I'm so excited for this one. Ah, shit. God damn it. Alright, and then I got a punishment for my last pick, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to this one because I got the prompt to read a cringy 2000s YA. And for this one, I'm going to be reading Fallen by Lauren Kate. My roommate and I actually just watched the movie adaptation for this one a few days ago, and it was so bad, but in like a really good way, you know? It just felt like the nostalgic kind of books that I would read when I was a kid, and I kind of miss that right now. So my roommate happened to have the first book on hand, so I was planning on trying to squeeze it into October, but instead I'm just going to put it into this month, and I'm so excited for it. It's been a long time since I've read a like cringy 2000s YA book, and it'll feel nice to go back to my roots a little bit, you know? But for this one, I'm not really sure what it's about, even though I've just watched the movie. It has to do with like fallen angels and a forbidden love of some kind, and like she has to choose between like the good side and the dark side and all this stuff. Like it sounds so angsty and dramatic and I can't wait for it. The movie was just ridiculous, but again, it's just such a fun way that I had to read the book immediately. But yeah, this series was so popular back in the day, but it was one that I just never got around to reading. But I'm looking forward to seeing where all this drama is sure to take me. Alright, so that's it for my official TBR. For the rest of the month, I'll just be mood reading a little bit and doing some book club picks. The NB book club is going to be reading We Are Not Broken by George M. Johnson. I read their first book and it was fantastic, so I'm looking forward to reading the second one. And then the book for the Queer Joy book club has not been announced yet, but whatever they pick, I'll probably also be reading too. And I'll leave a link to both of those book clubs down below for you guys if you want to check them out. But otherwise, yeah, I don't really have any like readathon plans happening this month, so we'll see where the rest of the month takes us. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!